Oh, the moon is gone. Must have clouded up all of a sudden. Sounds like there's a storm coming. Good thing we arrived at the estate just in time, huh? Though I'm not looking forward to this meeting with the boss. You know how she gets when things don't go to plan. I mean, she's cool to be around most of the time, but when shit goes wrong and her plans get ruined, let's just say you don't want to get on the wrong side of her temper. Don't let her calm demeanor fool you. Afraid of her? Why, of course not. I wouldn't be working for Suniko if I was. I'm just smart enough to be wary of her standards. And you should be too, if you want to last here. I'm being serious. Suniko doesn't tolerate the slightest of mistakes. She'll no doubt be on my ass for not killing Eshima. What do you think her reaction would be if she found out you were—
Pardon me for interrupting, but Miss Suniko will see you now.
Huh. Oh, yes, of course. I've never seen you before. You're new here, aren't you?
The name's Elise. You must be Kazumi, right?
Correct.
And you— I've heard some good things about you from Miss Suniko. Is it true that she will be turning you tonight?
Wait, what?
Mm-hmm. At least, that's what I've heard from rumors among the others.
I'm pretty sure these rumors are way off track. I mean, they're not even fully developed as a Syndicate member. By Suniko standards, anyway. And she never told me anything.
I'm only stating what I've heard. And besides, they look ready enough to me.
Looking ready is not the same thing as being ready. They still have a lot more to learn. And the last time I checked, you're not the boss, which means you're not qualified to decide when they should be turned.
You know what? You're right. My apologies. It seems I forgot my place for a moment there.
Yes, it seems you did.
Though I should mention that I am also in line to be turned by the boss.
Right. Another rumor, I'm guessing? Isn't it odd that the boss would turn someone who's fresh into the Syndicate?
It's not a rumor. It's a fact. From Miss Suniko herself. Perhaps she sees a massive amount of potential in me, despite being fresh.
Don't overestimate yourself.
I don't believe I am. But I will say this. Whether it's me who gets turned, or your friend, I'm positive we would make a great team. Perhaps you'll be my bodyguard on some of the boss's assignments. Or maybe I'll be yours.
You said Suniko will see us now. I suggest you take us to her.
That's a pretty heavy-handed reaction to some harmless teasing. I take it the two of you are more than just—
I resisted the urge to drink blood from a hunter. A hunter who almost killed my friend earlier. You smell nicer than she does. And you would most likely taste better as well. Should I sink my fangs into your pretty little neck and drink from you instead? Are you sure? She did invade your personal space. And my thirst is spiking up again.
You should listen to your friend. I doubt Miss Suniko would take kindly to one of her newest members being drained by someone she is supposed to trust.
Good point. Looks like they just saved you from becoming my personal blood pack. Now how was that for teasing?
This way, if you please.
Right behind you. Wouldn't want to keep the boss waiting much longer now, would we? Yes.
Miss Suniko?
Ah, Elise. I see you finally brought Kazumi and my protege to our meeting. What was the delay, may I ask?
Well, I introduced myself to these two. It took longer than I expected.
I see. And I suppose your introduction took higher priority over this meeting. Looks like Elise is actually lost for words this time.
Leave it to someone like her to be selfish before the boss.
I know, right? The nerve. Can't expect much from an outsider. Guess I'm not the only one who dislikes this shameless tramp. Enough! This is not a playground. Elise, you and I will talk later about your punctuality.
Yes, Miss Suniko.
Kazumi, your failure to kill a hunter, and even allowing one to get close in the first place will also be brought into question. Yes, boss. And as for you, I'm glad you weren't harmed. Let me look at you. I forget how alluring your scent is. I must restrain myself, or else the urge will take over. I imagine Kazumi does the same whenever she's around you. No, not at all, boss. I am completely unfazed by their scent. Come on, Kazumi. You forget. I know you. Your struggle to control your thirst. You've never had the urge to take even a drop of their blood. Not even a dream. For me to do that and harm them would be a blatant disrespect of your leadership. I would never think of doing something like that. And that's wonderful to hear, isn't it, everyone? It's wonderful that you ensured they were unharmed. Because if you had failed, and they had so much as a cut or bruise on their body, this beautiful face of yours would be turned inside out. But luckily for you, it didn't come to that. That's great, boss. It is. But do you know what isn't so great? What's that? Perhaps you can answer that question. Spot on. falling for traps. You see, for the Muryoku Syndicate to grow into a force that will surpass others, we need clients that will pay us for our services. People that we can drink from, rely on to scout for new members, and of course, turn into one of us if they have proven themselves worthy. These traps, laid down by both the hunters and our rivals, will prevent us from growing. I can't allow that. For now, let's focus on the hunters. After what went down at the party, they are currently the main threat. We must find out the hunters' base of operations. If we are to defeat them, we must strike at the heart. This meeting is over. Everyone else can go. But I want you, Kazumi, Elise, and Mio to stay behind. You're probably wondering why I've kept you four here. It's simple. I'm assigning all four of you to strike the hunter's base when we find out its location.
But why just the four of us? Why not include other members?
They will be busy with other functions of the Syndicate and getting others to squeak about the hunters. Just the four of you will suffice for this assignment. And it's possible that we may have a mole within the Syndicate.
What? A mole?
No way!
You're kidding me. That setup with the client earlier who didn't show up was no ordinary trap. The hunters would have had no other way of knowing that Kazumi or my protege would be present.
They could be using a spy.
Maybe. But that wouldn't be wise, considering we would easily blow their cover by detecting their scent. So my suspicion still stands. Kazumi, you have the most experience in this group. If you had to take a wild guess as to who the mole could be, which member would you pick?
Honestly, boss, I don't know. The thought that someone in the Syndicate is dishing out info to our enemies never even crossed my mind.
So, you believe everyone who works for me is loyal and trustworthy?
I would hope so.
And what about you? Any guesses as to who it could be? No, please. Humor me. Interesting. Well, I'm sure I don't need to babble on about the severity of betrayal. You're all aware of what the punishment is.
We do. 100%. You can count on me.
I would never betray you, Miss Sunako.
I believe you, Elise. For the moment. And you have a chance to redeem yourself in this assignment. Which reminds me.
Boss.
The group needs to be strengthened. When the transformation is complete, she will be able to assist you better in your fight against the hunters. And I'll be promoting her to the position of bodyguard.
Isn't this too soon? She's not very disciplined, and she is an outsider.
My father was an outsider too. I don't suppose you have a problem with that as well, do you?
Not at all. Forgive me.
Any objections from you, Kazumi?
I'll still be the main protector for your protege on this assignment, won't I?
Not this time. Elise needs the experience. It's a big risk, but I need to see how she will perform in her new role, and whether or not she can be trusted.
I understand.
And what about you? Any objections to this arrangement? Splendid. Then it's settled. You all know what you have to do. And what to look out for.